So public deliberations is more about making a case to the government to change the way public participation is being done.
The public cannot understand technical, difficult budget processes. So this has been an argument advanced by sometimes government officials who say, why engage them, people don't understand. So we are doing public deliberation to show that maybe that argument is stretched again too far. You know, it is true some of those processes are fairly technical, but it is not entirely true that the public cannot participate in that process. With the right information, people can be able to actually digest these processes.
Sijawahi, ingaje nimekuwa nikitamani sana.
No.
No?
Yes, I have. I have participated in I think in 2 different forums. One was just discussing the budgeting processes of the county with the coming of the devolution, and the budget making process of the county.
Like agriculture,
Social protection,
education, health.
kuna ile ya biashara. Siridhiki na jinsi ambavyo inafanya shughuli zake.
I am not that satisfied because there are sectors that need better allocations which are not done.
Nitaweza tu kutumia mifano.
Yeah, I will give my side of view, or I will give my decision. Like I've just said, I want more resources to be allocated on education sector and health.
I believe so, and I think maybe it has helped because it is information that we've been sharing with the relevant authorities to make sure these decisions are made.
Generally, the deliberations bit is to try and see whether there's a different way, a more effective way to engage the public in this new space that now is available in Kenya with decentralization, to get the public involved a bit more in budget discussions.
All the departments, there were allocations. But apparently, in regulation and development of construction industry, there was no allocation.
But you see, and then the coming year, the following year,
there was 1 billion. 2017, 2018. Yeah, there was an allocation of 1 billion. What informed the decision of the government to now give it 1 billion? That is where we are. I'm also trying to look at this very department in terms of is it the 4 pillars that the national government is currently talking about?
The big 4.
The big 4. Housing is part of it.
My thinking is this: I'm not justifying the allocations, but my interest basically is to validate, because then there must be formulas of calculating why this has to be this way.
Then why was it allocated the following year?
Yes.
The reason is, one of the things that the national has not done, or the national government has not done well, however much they have transferred functions, but they don't follow it.
Just
Are you understanding? They have transferred functions, but they've not transferred
the funds.
Resources. Yes. So probably the first round of allocation, the assumption was money to afford it. And that is why so many of these governors were like, we put affordable houses, which they never did. The national government have done very well in terms of purporting to have transferred what? Functions. But they've not transferred what? Resources. So my thinking is this. I have 2 schools of thoughts. The first 5 years, people were putting up structures. That's very political. People were putting structures to be functional. And probably that is why they never did what? They never put money for that.
When you look at the State Department for Petroleum, then we have the State Department for Energy. Actually, these 2 sectors that are started duplicating themselves.
So what in it?
Because when you look at this one, exploration and distribution of oil and gases, then you look at the other one up there, general administration, planning and support services, given 1 billion. Exploration of oil and gas is given 5 billion. Could these two things be merged into one? Power generation is there. That is exploration. If we use wind energy, other sources of energy. So at least maybe they will give us details on this, but I have a bit of duplication across in these two.
We have two functions in education sector that are devolved. We have the ECD and the youth polytechnic. Has the county government done enough to improve these two devolved programs of education? The little that the county government is getting, are they doing enough with that small they are getting to improve? I'm talking out of experience in this because I see the situation of my ECD school back at home.
People think public participation is very repetitive and it ends up fatiguing the public, the county governments. The county governments complain it's too expensive and so on and so forth. So what public deliberations is all about is proposing an alternative structure that will speak to how meaningful public participation forums should look like. And this is just a model, can be adopted or modified by parties who are organizing public participation forums around the budget or other public issues.
How many sectors do you think we have in government? Yes. 18. That's a very smart answer. I know where the 18 has come from. Someone else? How many sectors do you think we have? Hii meza munaniangusha. Simu guess.
I think there are more than 20.
There are more than 20. Someone else? 24. 22. Naona generally ni iko around 20. The national government and its ministries and sectors have been there for a long time, right? At the national level, we have 10 sectors. Okay? Now, the 10 sectors include sectors like health, education, public administration, and others. Under each of the sectors, you have ministries. So, for example, under the sector education, you have a number of ministries there. You have a state department for basic education, you have a state department for university education, and the rest. So, even in the budget, that is how the budget is arranged, is that you have 10 sectors. We have to decide how much money we give to each of those 10 sectors. Then when we've given each of those sectors their money, then now those sectors have to decide how much money they are going to give to each of their ministries. One of the most important decisions that is made at the national level is a decision about how much money we are going to give to each sector. Okay? It's a decision about how much money should go to agriculture versus how much money should go to education. How much money should go to security versus how much money should go to governance, justice, law, and order. Okay, so that decision is made around February. Around February, there's a discussion that happens at the National Assembly level, and there is a document that is tabled at that time that is very critical for us, and I would like us to keep this in mind. There's a document called a budget policy statement. A budget policy statement, even from just that middle word, the policy part, is where we are actually deciding as a country what are the policies that we want to fund in the next financial year, and of those things, how much will it cost to actually do them. It is at this point around February that we decide what are the big priorities that we are going to do as a country. Okay? So by the time unaona Rotich anakuja na budget yake in briefcase huwa inatokea mwezi gani? June. By the time you see Rotich with his briefcase in June, some decisions were already made this early. Okay, we are already in February. Oh, sorry, tumeingia March. We are just all February getting into March, and there are some budget decisions that are already being made right now. So the budget policy statement is the point where we make a decision of, do we want to give more money to agriculture than education? Do we want to give more money to infrastructure than security? That is the right time when this decision is made. So if for me as a farmer, I want more money to go into employing certain people within the agriculture sector like extension officers, if the national government is still able to do that, or if I want more money to go into the fertilizer subsidy program, then the time to start engaging is actually now. By the time Rotich anakuja, that decision has already been made. We're just discussing of the money that we are given for agriculture, how are we going to share it among all the priorities within agriculture. The decision today has to be from you and by you alone. So for me, I'll just be guiding the discussion. Number two, we are going to make this decision as one group. I know we had our own little discussions, and in that discussion, like the group that was here was very animated and very hot. But the decision we are going to make, the 20 of us. So I want you to think of this as a simulation of what could happen in a county.
For me, I would take education 65%. Then I will give you infrastructure at 5%.
Education is 60.
Yes. So the first option.
Energy is 40.
I was proposing it to be 50-50.
Education should be given more. In this case, 70. And then the other one will get 30.
Kwangu ningeongeza tena 10 nitoe 10 kwa 30 niongeze kwa 70 iwe 80-20 kwa pande education.
Yangu itakuwa education 60, infrastructure 40.
Public deliberation borrows from a very simple theory in political science, which is basically that you govern by discussions. Governance by discussion is basically to say for everything that we'll do as a country, we will talk about it. Then we'll agree on the best approach. It will not mean that everyone will get what they want every time, but at least there will be an agreed approach because everyone will listen to the justification from the other person and then we'll find a way forward that is agreeable to all of us.
People given time and the right kind of information can actually contribute to a discussion. And they don't need to know the granular details. They don't need to know every last detail of things. I mean, we had the sectors that we were having debates around this time, you know, education and infrastructure, you know, and whether to invest more in capital development or in human development. People had ideas, and they were all speaking from the context that they were working from.
Now I'm no longer listening to reasons. As I said, the reason why it's good to give reasons is because you're trying to convince the person next to you. All right? You're trying to convince the person next to you that actually, my friend, if we actually put more money into education, is a good thing. And this is the reason why. That's why I said there is no reason that is wrong. But it's just that we have to make a decision about one priority, which is basically saying one thing this time will be more important than the other one, money-wise.
All the infrastructure is in Kenya, like the Lika Super Highway. We are borrowing all the cracks from China. If we could have educated people in Kenya, we could have done that one. So what generally means is that the net profit from that work is going to China instead of coming to our country. What do we do National Hospital? We are having those machines. Machines are there. Nobody is able to work on them because we are not having the tools. And those tools which are required is that knowledge. Mambo mwanzo wa kila kitu ni knowledge. Then from knowledge,
this raises a lot of concerns as to why, as a country, we are hiring experts from outside. Why? Because we are not fast embracing our own. That is what we are not doing. We are investing on an education system that is currently not helping us. Why do we have a large group of people coming out of school and they don't want other employment? Two, they don't have a source of income that you can say that this one is what I went to school to do.
When I am seeing Chinese doing some work that they're supposed to be doing. So first of all, you have to address that. Why are we inviting experts to our country to do the work that we can be able to do? That the answer is we don't have those expertise. We have running people. We need more money in education and be focused as a country towards what we demand and what we require, so that we can utilize our young people and our expatriates in all the areas of our operations.
We've talked of what we are supposed to do. But now, the situation is, the system that is producing people who don't have a C+ in mathematics is the same. You want us to put all our money in there. So, for now, there's no point in this, whatever I saw, where we change our tactics in approaching education. It's the same system that is producing half-baked that we want us to put all our money there.
Kama saisi hapa for example, si kila mtu wako na kazi hapa. Ni watu wachache wako na kazi. Elimu hatuna. Na wengi wako na elimu. Na wengi wako na elimu. So mimi ningependa watu watengenezewe kazi kwanza, tutengeneze kwanza kazi, tutengeneze industries, tufanye nini, alafu tuandike, ndio imotivate hata wale wengine wenye wanasoma kusoma zaidi. Ndio tufungue area yetu kama barabara, tu connect na Sudan, kwa sababu si kila mtu amesoma. Kuna wale watu ambao wanafanya biashara. Bila hiyo biashara, huyo mtu kwake haitakula. Bila hiyo biashara ama bila barabara nzuri, sisi hatutapata mboga hapa. So ni heri tutengeneze kazi kwanza ndio turudi kwa elimu.
Those jobs ni long life jobs or long term or short lived kind of jobs, because hatuwezi maliza pesa yote kwa jobs ambayo inacreatiwa for 2 months or 2 weeks inaisha, and then unabaki hapo hujasoma hujafaidika. So
hii job unapata job without a qualification, and that qualification inatokana na masomo. Then ile majobu unaongea ni ile ya kupiga bush, ile hii makasho ndio unaongea, si ile jobs ya maana ambaye masomo inaweza leta.
Pengine hao wame squeeze minds yao kwa kazi, lakini hiyo haikuwa lengo langu, ilikuwa ni part ya kuexplain watu waelewe.
For instance, in Turkana, the debate was very heated, you know, about infrastructure, because both are at a very fairly poor level, you know, and the difficulty was real. You know, which one do we focus on? Do we focus on infrastructure? We have discovered oil, and therefore we need infrastructure, but we also need education. You know, who are the engineers who will get employed? So it was a very difficult, but that first lesson, that people given the right kind of information can actually contribute and participate in a debate. I think that was fast.
Each group had its own discussion and came up with their own agreement and their own 3 reasons as to why that agreement was what was the best according to their discussion. So number 1, I hope all groups did that, or at least got to some good level. Number 2, each representative from each group will come and present to us their division, how they shared the money between the 2 sectors, and their 3 reasons.
Social protection, culture and recreation 35%, and governance, justice, law and order 65%. We were, in our assessment of the discussion, we realized that with the strength and good governance, prevailing justice within law and order, certain aspect of social protection and culture and recreation become self-initiate for positive human development. Reason number 2, you realize, like for example, if you look at certain departments within
social protection.
No, certain departments of social protection are duplication of what is happening in JJLO. The allocations are low on certain departments of governance, JJLO, there's more reason for those commissions to adequate, because they could be underperformed because of inadequate funding. So for them to realize their mandates, and because, for example, if it is a commission that is supposed to come to the ground, talk to the people, and there is no funding enough to do that, they'll sit and wait if there is any money to be put to them. So those things lie just like that. So more funding needs to be given to them.
So how do we make this final decision? Tupige kura. Kupiga kura ilikataliwa haraka sana mara ya kwanza. Sasa inaanza kuonekana kama option, eh? How many for more for infrastructure? How many for education? Okay, so 2575. Stucky celebration. How many are those? In a democracy, you still have to count all of them. 15. Okay, then 2080. That is 3. Okay, so how many people do we have in the room? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 21.
There must be reasons why a certain sector is given more funding than the other.
There should be more public participation to make us aware or to make us get the information of the importance of budgeting.
Today's event can be improved to make it better. Like today, we were already discussing certain sectors. If this would be proved to a point whereby it goes to the community, where communities sit like in a baraza, a sectorial issue is brought up and we discuss one sectorial issue. People argue, disagree, agree, then we have methods of agreeing.
About the factors to consider when making a budget, when planning for a budget, like the issues, the 8 issues that we discussed in the morning, which are key in making a budget. And then I also learned some of the challenges the sectors face when the budget has been passed in the parliament. There are issues that come after the budget has been passed, like the ones we are calling the emerging issues.
I know the input of the citizens is very key to the various allocations. And I also know that I know that the people feel that their input is never taken seriously, since the budget making process is by the name suggests that it is a process. So not all of them that participate from the beginning to the end of the process. So at some point they get lost, and that is where implementations are done in their absence, allocations are done without their knowledge, and not everything goes right.